The Kels test, which stands for Coleman Evaluation of Living Skills, is a measure of a person's living skills to see if they are independent or if they need assistance in some of the 8 occupations of daily living. So the test is given through a booklet. They can either be given through an interview style or a task be given to your client, and then you will take the answers, or after the task they should be coming up with answers in the task as well. So you'll be taking those answers that you're given either verbally or written, and you'll compare them in the book that you have to what is required for this person to be independent, and that is how you'll do your scoring. Okay. So to administer the test, you start with an introduction. It says, I'll be giving you an evaluation of living skills. The reason I am giving you this evaluation is to help determine your specific strengths. It will take approximately 30 to 45 minutes. I may be taking notes as the evaluation progresses. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. At the end of the evaluation, I will go over the result with you. Are you ready to begin? Okay. So the first portion is the reading and writing form, and you just give them the instructions. First do this. You don't want to tell them to fill it in because you want them to know that for themselves and be able to read instructions. So that's the first part. And then the second part is self-care, appearance. So they have to list, do they shower, do they bathe, how often, things like that. And then you would score that depending on the minimum standards of self-care activities required. So they shower, bathe at least once a week, they wash their face at least once a day. And so those are the things that are required to be considered independent in the self-care of the frequency and self-care activities. And then self-care appearance, you will be observing them. So that one's easy enough. If they have an unkempt appearance, then you can mark it if their clothes are dirty, if their clothes are clean. Okay. So the next task is awareness of dangerous household situations. This part, I will be holding up a picture, which you won't be able to see very well in this, but this is a picture of a woman blow drying her hair, and there's a ton of cords in the wall in the same outlet. So they would have to look at the picture and identify what the danger is. And then they'd have to be specific, so they might identify, oh, there's danger because there are a ton of plugs in the same outlet and you might need to pound them. So what is dangerous about this? And they would have to say it's a fire hazard, something like that. Okay. If they don't answer these questions correctly, and the book does give you the answers, then they would need assistance. So that is some other pictures. A girl reaching for her M&Ms while the pills are there, so she could accidentally eat the wrong thing. There's a picture of a cord that it's a falling hazard, someone could trip over it, and then there's another fire hazard with a woman reaching over a stove. Okay. And the next portion is safety and health. So to administer it, I would ask the following questions. What would you do for yourself if you got sick with a cold? What would you do if you burned yourself and the wound became infected? What would you do if you suddenly started having severe chest pains and shortness of breath? If your house caught on fire, what telephone number would you call for help? Okay, so if they give a partial answer, like what would I do if you got sick with a cold, and they said, well, I'd go to the doctor, and you could give them a hint, say, would you do anything else? That way they know they can give you, well, I would go to the doctor near me whose name is this, or maybe I don't have a specific doctor, so I would look it up on my phone when I'd be going to. Right, so that they know exactly what they would be doing. in order to be independent in that area. Alright, so the next section is safety and health, knowledge of location of medical and dental facilities. In medical facilities, I would say if you needed to see a doctor, where would you go? Where is doctor's office or clinic located? Dental facility, if you needed a dental care, where would you go and where is it located? Find a doctor using a cell phone. So in this case, it's not just an interview, it's an actual activity. They would have to get their phone, and if they don't have a phone, you could let them borrow one and put in a search for a doctor's office so that you know that they are independent in that way. Next one is money management. Robert, the video's still going, right? Yeah. Money management, use cash to purchase items. Sorry, the camera sometimes just turns off. Okay, so I would have money, a toothbrush, change, and a deck of cards. So in the first task, I would give them the $5. It says, I'm going to give you $5 and you're going to buy this toothbrush from me. The toothbrush costs $4.58, including tax. You gave me the $5, I take back the $5, and I give you the toothbrush and the amount, and this amount of change. Is this the right amount of change? So I give them the amount of change designated in the book, and it is the incorrect amount of change. So in order for them to be scored independently, they would have to recognize that's the incorrect amount of change and then identify what the correct amount is. Okay, task 2, you're going to purchase a deck of cards, and then I'll give them some money and tell them how much the cards cost, and they have to answer if they have any extra money or the right amount, and if they have extra money, how much they have, and or how much more do they need. So to be independent, they would have to be able to complete the tests accurately, counting their money out accurately, knowing the answer to those questions. Okay, the next one is money management, payment of bills. And the administration, usually bills are, well, it depends on if they do their bills online, but you could print a copy of it or a copy of just an average bill so that they have something to, let's see, they should provide, yeah, they have a lot of things. A copy of the bill with its due date change and an erasable pen. I will give the bill to the client and say, how do you pay your bills? What is the amount due on this bill? When is the bill due? Okay. They have a check and a cash and a money order or transfer task, so it depends on kind of what their answer was on how they would pay the bill, which part you would test. Then if they paid through cash, how would you pay this bill in cash? If they pay through check, fill out this pretend check, which is right here. They give you this check. Oh, and here's the bill that you print out with the date and everything that they have to look at for this. And then money order, describe to me where and how you would purchase. Describe where and how you would purchase a money order to pay this bill. Fill out this money order, so they also give you the money order to fill out. Right there. So it really depends on how this person says they pay their bills, and then you would, if they pay by check, you would do the check. If they pay by money order, you would do the money order to see if they're independent in paying their bills. Okay, next is money management. Obtain and maintain source of income. So you would need your cell phone for this one, or some type of electronic device. If they're an older client, they might have a telephone book, but it could also be an outdated telephone book. So if it is possible, it's better to do the laptop or the cell phone. So I would ask, what is your source of income, and do you have any other source of income? And if the client doesn't understand, I would ask, where do you get your money? Okay. For work, where do you work? Do you plan on returning to work there? If they answer yes again, when do you plan on returning to work? And then if they respond no, there's also, if they don't work, do you plan on getting another job? When do you plan on getting another job? What will be your source of income? Okay. And then they have even a more specific section for rental property, if that is their source of income, and questions for that. Okay, so for each source of income, or for each income category given by the client, the scoring should be either independent or not independent, needs assistance, to say how they would find this job. So they would need to have a very specific public assistance, or know how to get a job, the documents they would need to get this job, who they would call, email to get the documents they need. And then there's a scoring at the end for each section, if they already have a job, if they are looking for a job, if they get a job from rental property, or if they are already retired or have a retirement plan. It is all scored a little bit differently depending on the answers they would give you. Next one is community, mobility, and telephone. This is an interview where the client just has to give you one method of transportation and has to have been using it within the last 3 months in order to score independent. Then there's community, mobility, and telephone, basic knowledge of public transit. This is also an interview. I'd ask, is public transportation such as buses, subways, or light rail available where you live? And if they respond yes, you would add next question, if you needed to take these, how would you know what time and which location to use? So they can and then the scoring is them giving you the different ways that they can find that transportation. A phone number, or a ticket booth, a sign, just to indicate that they know how they can get to where they need to go. Next is community mobility and telephone. Use of telephone. Also useful to have a telephone here, and it should come with a phone number for somebody to call. For your client to call. And the instructions are here. Is the telephone number for call the number and tell me the information. If the telephone has a speaker option, please use it. So you would have this fake phone number from the Kels test for them to call, and they would have to put it on speaker and get the information from the phone number from the automated message frame. Next is employment and leisure. So this doesn't necessarily apply, well, it's not applicable if the client is retired. Okay, so, and then the questions would have to do with what jobs they have had in the past, what jobs they plan on having in the future, when was their last job, what kind of job it was, And then it would be scoring independent if they are able to find jobs to apply for on a website, or they know how to find a job. So if they tell you that they can look on the internet, or they can look on in the newspaper, and then also that the types of jobs they're looking for are in their skill range. Okay. Employment and leisure. 2. Leisure activity involvement. This is an interview. What would you do in your leisure or free time? Do you do anything else? Do you do any activities with other people? When was the last time you, and then you state the leisure activity. And they are scored independent if they give a minimum of 3 leisure activities, and if those have been done in the previous month. And then one of the 3 has to be done with other people. If they do not fit those requirements, then they are considered a needs assistance. Okay, so that is the test. And after that, you would use the score form. Let's see. So as the independent needs assistance, not applicable, or C, note. And then all the areas that we just went through: self-care, safety and health, money management, community, and mobility and telephone, employment and leisure participation. Okay. So you will be able to mark here if they were, mark here which one they fell under. And then if you have any notes, you can write it down there. You would do that for each section. And then here's areas of concern. This is based off of observations that you made while during the test, not so much their answers. So some examples are ability to read or write or use a keyboard. So, and you can check yes or no. And then another area of concern is their cognition, their ability to comprehend and complete forms, their ability to follow directions. And this is also based off of observation of what they were able to do during the test. And then at the end, you can note any assistance routinely provided to complete basic activities of daily living. So do they have a nurse coming to their home? Do they have a family member that's helping them, a neighbor that transports them? Things like that. So after completing the scoring, you would check which one they fall under here, if they are independent or if they need help living alone. And then you would, if it's safe for them to live alone, and then you would check which one of all the categories they would need help with, so that you could provide assistance for that person after the test. And then this section 2, the last section, is recommend the following living situation. And so if they were independent and they did not need help in any of the areas, you could check home alone. And then there's other options depending on the amount of help they would need at home. So from home alone to skilled nursing facility. All right. So that's how you score it.